He kōna e purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
No mai, haere mai, kia ora and welcome along to the Music 101 interview podcast. I'm Charlotte Ryan. I host Music 101 every Saturday afternoon on RNZ National, and this podcast is a great way for you to catch up on interviews that you missed on the show. Last week, I had the absolute honour of being joined in studio by Louisa Nicklin and also Shayne P. Carter. Louisa Nicklin, she's a musician, a composer. She's known for her work in both contemporary classical music, but also alternative rock. She studied composition at the Te Kohi, New Zealand School of Music, with an honours degree in contemporary classical composition. She's had her pieces performed by the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, but it's been in the last 5 years or so that Louisa's been focusing more on her alternative guitar music. In 2021, she released her debut rock album, which stood out for its arrangements and songwriting. And as you'll hear, actually, a particular track on that really stood out to Shayne P. Carter. Shayne Carter, from Straight Jacket Fits, Double Happies and Dimmer, he ended up asking Louisa Nicklin to join his band. For Louisa Nicklin's new album called The Big Sulk, which was just released last week, she had Shayne P. Carter as producer. They recorded the album in the Coromandel Bush, and as you'll hear in this conversation, they've got a real natural chemistry, I guess you could say. They both obviously appreciate and admire each other's music so much, and I think they have a language where they can talk about music in a way that perhaps I can't. From Music 101 on Saturday, Louisa Nicklin joined me in the Auckland studio and Shayne P. Carter from Wellington.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, it's so nice for you to join us.
Yeah, cool.
How did you guys first meet?
It actually came about because Shayne reached out to me about one of my songs, Pour It Down, which is from my EP from, 2018 or 19. And he'd heard it because I submitted it for the Silver Scroll, total long shot, but you might as well. And I'm glad I did because he was judging and heard it and reached out and was like, cool tune, keep doing your thing. And I guess we had like a bit of an email, maybe it was almost like mentorship or like, we didn't really talk very much, but I'd like send him some tunes sometimes and things like that. And then he reached out and asked if I wanted to play in Dimmer. And that's when we first started like actually working together. And I really liked how Shayne talked about music and thought about music and thought it'd be really cool to like work together on the next album.
Shayne, what attracted you to Louisa's music, or what was it? Do you think the classical music influence you could hear in her compositions?
No, it wasn't that. It was more that, so when I was the judge for the Silver Scrolls thing, I dutifully listened to 220 songs, which took quite a long time, but I thought if someone spent, months or weeks on a tune, I can spend 3 minutes 30 listening to it. So I listened to every song. And Louisa's song really stood out to me because what really struck me about it was that it was soulful and there was nothing generic about it. Yeah, it was soulful, and I also really liked her voice. Yes, it stood in the sea of 220 songs. It really stood out to me. And I won't name the other judges, but I tried to tell the other judges I really like the song, and they kind of listened to it, and they didn't put it in the top 20 anyway. But I just thought it was a great tune, and I really liked the vibe that I got off it. So, yeah, I just thought, I'd drop Louisa a line. I did that with a couple of other artists, actually, who didn't make that cut, just because, it's hard being a songwriter, and it's very easy to be discouraged. And I just think it's good to offer encouragement to people, to say, keep rocking, what you're doing is really good. So that's why I contacted Louisa, yeah.
So then, Louisa, from playing in Dimmer, you and Shayne, formed an even stronger friendship, I guess. How did you approach Shayne to produce this new album?
I'd definitely been thinking about it for a while and was like, that could be pretty cool. That'd be kind of crazy.
Had you worked with a producer before?
Not really, no. Not in any formal way. I think I just sent him a text or an email and was like, what do you reckon? And Shayne was like, why don't we get a coffee and talk about it? And we got a coffee and he was like, yeah, I'm pretty keen. That could be cool. And that was probably like 18 months ago. It was like mid-2022, I reckon, that we had that coffee and talked about it. So it's been like a long time in the works. And I was keen to just like do it straight away, but I didn't even have the songs. I was just like, you just want to get on with it. So Shayne was very good at the kind of having some patience.
You wanted to finish it before you'd even started it.
Yeah, I know.
Are we finished now? That's what you think at the end of the first coffee.
I just wanted to get on with it.
And I said nearly.
So, Louisa, at that coffee, how did you articulate to Shayne sort of what album you wanted to make, or did you have a vision for what you wanted to make at that point?
Oof. I can't even really remember what I said anymore, but I feel like I wanted it to be intentional. Like, that sounds kind of silly, like everything should be intentional, but I think with the first album, it was quite quick because I wanted to get on with it. But like we just had a few days at Roundhead and just had to kind of smash it out with the time we had. And I guess this time I wanted every choice to be intentional, like any overdub or whatever, to be not just because it kind of sounded cool and why not chuck it in, to have some like purposefulness to it, I guess. But I didn't have any big vision of like themes or like anything like that. No.
Shayne, I'm intrigued by the role of a producer always, but how did you find it being a producer on this album, but yet sort of, I don't know, incorporating your identity without overshadowing Louisa's vision?
I think half the skill is not incorporating your identity on it. Like you're there to make Louisa's songs sound as cool as you can make them. I don't really feel the need to stamp. I play a bit of guitar on the record and that kind of stuff, but I don't really feel the need to stamp my identity on a record that's not mine. I did it because I've only produced one other record, and that was the Die 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 album that I did several years ago, and I really like that record too. It's fun. You sort of know more than you think because you basically, I view myself quite often as just this idiot stumbling around, but hang on, I actually know quite a bit.
Yes.
And also, my role isn't so much an engineer. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a technical dude. What I thought I could bring to Louisa and to the Die 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 record I did was basically being just a bit of a song doctor or a song tweaker. That's my skill. And putting together a song is way easier when it's not your song. So what I did on Louisa's record really was, in the writing process, I was kind of involved in that. Louisa was still bringing the tunes along, but I'd sort of go, well, how about we do this, 3 times instead of once. It was just song tweaking. And I think, it really worked because most of the songs on the record to me sound real tight, they're good tunes and they're well arranged and that kind of stuff. The other thing I wanted to do too is just because I think Louisa's voice is really unique and she's got she's got a great haunting quality to her vocals. And I really wanted to maybe get her to stretch out a wee bit more with her vocals too, because she's got this particular register which she sings in, which is great, which is her thing. But yeah, there's some high bits of vocals and that kind of stuff. There's just bits where we stretched what she was doing vocally a wee bit more. And but the main thing is not to impede what she does, which is her. Like I say, I like the fact that Louisa's music is quite often it's a bit kooky as well, where it's not square. It's got odd bits, it's got odd signatures and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's inventive around the edges while still being songs, and I really like that too.
Yeah. Louisa, was it your idea to go to the Coromandel bush to record?
I think so. I think it came out of, I remember saying to Shayne, maybe we just go to like the lab or, something like that. And he was like, no, let's I think you said, Shayne, about let's go somewhere down near Dunedin and I don't know. It was like when we were on a dimmer tour. I don't even know if you remember saying this.
Oh, that's the Catlins.
Yeah. And I kind of liked that idea. But that was quite a mission to get down there, particularly because Eamon, who plays bass, he had quite a fresh baby. So going to I liked the romanticism of going away and doing an album. So going to the Coromandel meant that everyone could come and be able to pop back to Auckland if they really needed to. Had a nice vibe.
Cool.
And
lots of sausages.
Yeah, we ate way too many sausages.
That was the only thing on the menu. It's like, what's for dinner? Louisa, she's taking care of the catering, and she said, sausages. And we're like, oh, great.
So you can hear, as the album goes on, just how many sausages we've been eating.
The weight of the sausages, yeah.
So did the location change or inspire your creativity, I guess, down there? Like the isolation, but also Because there's some sound, I mean, I want to talk about the sounds on the album soon, but there are some sounds that sort of reference or could sound like birds. I wondered if that came from you being in that space, in that bush.
I don't think it was like a very direct influence in that way of being like, oh, we can hear some birds, let's chuck birds on there, or like birdish sounds on there. But I think like being in that environment can be nice and spacious and like allows time for the songs to have some patience in them and things, compared to maybe when you're just in like a hot little studio. And actually you can hear like, I mean, I can't hear it because my ears are not attuned enough, but other people have told me that in the drum tracks you can hear cicadas because we tracked the drums with all the windows and doors open because otherwise it like reflected too much. But it meant that we're all sitting out on the deck in the sun with our headphones on listening to Mason track drums, and it was quite scenic and beautiful.
Can I just briefly say, I reckon you should do a documentary on the influence of cicadas on New Zealand recordings, because cicadas are like the dimmer recordings as well.
Really?
And I think if you make records in a home studio in Auckland, there's a good chance there's going to be cicadas all over it. Because you can hear, yeah, they're everywhere.
I want to ask about the lyrics, but yet I'm also very aware that some singer-songwriters don't like talking about lyrics, but they're very honest from what I've sort of picked up. Was there sort of... We talked about how it wasn't conscious for you to go in, but now you reflect on the album. Can you see a theme? Yeah,
I think there's sort of a theme of change on the horizon, perhaps, or some of them aren't from my own perspective. They're actually more, or like they're my perspective of someone else, but they're written about someone else. But yeah, I guess there's kind of this theme of discontent or uncertainty or something like that, but it wasn't intentional. And it is funny, like going back and listening to them, and they are almost like little diary entries, and you're trying to kind of like reading between the lines. You're like, oh, is that what I meant when I said that, or whatever? So yeah, I guess there is a theme, but it's like the title being The Big Sulk. It isn't like, it's not like we had that title and I was like, oh, now I'm going to write some sulky tunes. It was the title came out of a joke, really, of it being this collection of sulky songs.
Who used the word sulky? Was that you, Shayne?
Yeah.
I think I may have come up, yeah, suggested that one. Yeah.
I think you would say, like, how's the big sulk coming along? But
let me guess, you're sulking away?
But yeah, you sulking.
Good.
And it stuck. And I thought it was a great title because it has, like, self-awareness to it, you know? It's like, this is my big sulk, but actually, you know, you can wallow and you can sulk and then you can come out of it. Like, there's bigger fish to fry in the world.
I've read that for this album you feel like you have been more vulnerable. Do you think that's age that's done that, or even maybe working with Shayne, it's given you that confidence?
I don't know. Yeah. I think, yeah, all my music's definitely had that vulnerability to it. It's kind of a space where I feel like I can say those things that maybe I wouldn't say in person. Instead, I just say it really publicly to lots of people I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's age. Maybe it's just not caring so much about... Yeah, I guess that's age. I don't care about the judgment of others so much or something.
Yeah. Shayne, any thoughts on that? Have you got better with age, not caring what people think?
Oh, for sure. I think that's the relief of age. That's one good thing about aging is that, or one of the things that's good about aging. Shit, yeah. There's the old famous, Jimi Hendrix lyric, I'm the one who has to die when it's time for me to die. So let me live my life the way that I want to. That's a mantra for me. And it really doesn't matter what other people think. I think, people you respect and your peers and all that kind of stuff, you're going to give weight to their opinion. But as far as the general, everyone's got an opinion, and about everything, and you don't necessarily agree with all of them. So no, you don't take them on board. No, you shouldn't know if it's any good. And you eventually realise you don't need anyone else to tell you.
Do you think, Shayne and Louisa, that you both have sort of connected over classical music? Because, Shayne, I understand you're doing an album or something with the symphony orchestra, perhaps, or I know that you've loved classical music and you've done a lot of sort of writing about it and also reading about it. But did that connect you too with your classical background, Louisa?
I don't think in a direct way, but I think both of us maybe have some appreciation or influence from classical music. I use the word classical pretty broadly, just like not popular music, contemporary classical.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever had a big bonding moment over classical music.
I don't think have we ever talked about classical music? I don't think we have.
No.
Yes, I have been. Yes, I've just finished recording an album with the NZSO of my tunes. I'll just plug that. Yeah, we hope to release that later on this year. Sounds real cool.
Amazing. Original songs, new original songs?
Well, it's actually I did a show with them and I did some back catalogue songs. So it's a mixture of back catalogue stuff and new stuff. But I really love the arrangements of it, and yeah, it's I'm really buzzed out about it. It's really great to be able to do that. It's just amazing hearing your stupid riffs coming back being played by the Nicklin Symphony. Like, wow, that's my stupid riff. And yeah. And no, I said to the entire orchestra, can you just go for 3 minutes? And they go, yeah, sure, you can do that. And I think with Louisa, yeah, even though we've never discussed classical music, I think that's probably has informed her music. And that, when I was talking before, there's sort of it's not generic pop music, and like there's this sort of, some of the chords are sort of discords and they're interesting chords as opposed to straight ahead things. So you can kind of hear that, even though from what I hear in Louisa's songs, there's kind of sort of an exploratory aspect to the chord choices and the melodies and all that kind of stuff. So I think that probably does inform it. It's just a wee bit, yeah, it's just a wee bit more exploratory, and it's not always four square.
Thank you both so much. Louisa, you're about to go on tour. You've got lots of dates. Is Shayne in your band?
Shayne might appear at some point.
Yeah, I may be joining just on a couple of dates. I don't know, Louisa, am I allowed to say? I think I'm going to play guitar on a few songs at a couple of the dates.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So you might see a bit of Shayne if you come to the shows.
Amazing. Well done. Congratulations on the big sulk.
Thank you for having us.
Nice one, mate. Yeah, cool.
There you go. Sulky, sausages, the Coromandel Bush, so many good things. But that album by Louisa Nicklin, you must go and listen to it, The Big Sulk. And you heard it first. Louisa Nicklin is going on tour throughout New Zealand, and it sounds like Shayne Carter is going to join her on stage too. Don't miss out on tickets. And as you would have heard in that interview, Shayne Carter has a new album soon. But until then, we can potentially see him play on some of Louisa Nicklin's tour dates throughout September. Tune in each Saturday from 1 p.m. to Music 101 to hear all the music news, local and international. And if you like this podcast, make sure you follow it and give me a rating if you're into it too. Until next time, take care.